The hogfish. It's the hardest one in the whole book, y'all. I was gonna save it for last, but I have decided that I'm gonna go ahead and just rip it off like a band-aid and get this one done. So the first thing we're gonna do is decide, do I start with the fish or do I start with the reef? Well, I was gonna start with the fish, but now on second thought, I've decided that maybe I should start with the reef. That's really pretty. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is grab this Tuscan red, which is sitting over here in my purples. I don't really know why. And I'm going to, ooh, wow, that's really, I need a magnifying glass to see what I've done here. Okay, actually what I'm gonna do is grab the yellow ochre and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna color over everything. That way all my little squiggles have color on them. The color on this side is going to be a little bit darker. Wow, it's already pretty. It's already pretty. Okay, so then I'm gonna come in with this ochre and I'm gonna do a little bit of his comb. Now I'm not coloring in the entire area of his comb. I'm just doing a little bit because I feel like that yellow on his comb is gonna actually be a little more in the yellow chartreuse because as it goes back, we want to put some atmosphere in there. So that it appears to go back itself instead of just being flat. So there would be a little more, ooh, well, I don't know if that's it. Well, we'll go over that with some other stuff. So sunburst, what color is this? This is goldenrod. I have barely used this. This is going to be interesting, very, very interesting. So I think that the color on this part of his face is going to be more goldenrod undertoned. And again, I'm doing this first because then I'm going to painstakingly go in here and attempt to outline in the red. It's really going to be an umbers. It's going to be an umber. It's going to be these reds. It's going to be this red. I'm not looking at the barrel. I'm looking at the color on the tip. Ooh. Henna, chestnut, mahogany red, terracotta red, and raspberry. Ooh. I don't know about that raspberry, y'all. So I'm gonna come in here around his eye with this same goldenrod here. I'm gonna set this right here. And then I'm probably thinking that I should pull the mineral orange. Ooh. Wowza. I'm gonna come in with the mineral orange. Oh, yep, that's it. That's one of the colors. And I'm gonna just outline the back side of each of these scales that I've already drawn on here for you, just to start kind of laying them out. and then we'll go through here in just a minute, and as it goes back further, we'll switch colors. Or as it comes forward, we'll switch colors. Right now, I just want to see what it's looking like. I'm going to put some of this orange back here. There's got to be some yellow back there, and it needs to be a different color of yellow. So we're gonna, excuse me, we're gonna grab the sand, because it's a little lower intensity yellow. I mean, it's still yellow, but it's not quite as in your face yellow. I'm gonna put some of it up here. This fish has lots of, now there's two varieties of hogfish. So this one happens to be the orangey one. So, again, just going around the back side of those scales, and I'm not pushing hard. I just want a little bit of color on there right now, just enough color that I can kind of smear it out with the yellow and get it blended there. Gonna come up here and add some of that same mineral orange. Woo! Now, I'm wondering if the Tuscan red can come into play. Oh, yep. See, that's gonna blend up beautifully. Okay, so then I want to come over this band right here with the same mineral orange. And then what I'm gonna do is go over it with the Tuscan red and start to change it up a little bit. And you see, I'm not coloring the whole thing. I'm leaving some areas, so that gives the illusion of there being some light and dark areas within his tail itself. Wow, so intense. So intense that I felt the need to whisper. I'm also going to grab this, which should be a dark umber. Yes. I actually want to sharpen this. I haven't used any of these yet, so I'm going to set those right there because I know they're coming. This one requires me to be really careful. This is, if you have never colored before, I suggest you save this one until the very last, so that you can go through some of the other tutorials and kind of get an idea of what's going on before you do this one. Because this one, I'm gonna have to pay attention to dark umber. Again, I have no idea if I'm doing this correctly. I'm sort of winging it here. I know there's going to be some darks on each side of these spines here. And of course, that color does not look correct at all. As I was saying before it shut off, we used the jade green to kind of go over the yellow back here on his tail because that sets his tail back in the distance. And then I'm going to come over the band, the dark band as well, because that's also going to set some distance. So, yas. So I'm feeling like I want to go ahead and, if I can, lightly, henna might be a good color for this, come in here and add the squiggles that I really can't even see, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Do you know why they're called the hogfish? They are called a hogfish. Leave a comment in the comments below if you know why they're called the hogfish. So I would think that these would be a little stronger squiggles. And as it comes back on his face, I would think that, if I remember correctly, it's going to get lighter. Do it barely here. Whew. Cadmium orange. Let's just see about that. I don't know. I don't know if that's my color or not. This fish is hard. I'm having to seriously think about what I'm doing here, y'all. So, hold it on. The squiggles make me crazy. I just have to pretend like there are little maps of subdivisions, roads. And some of them lead somewhere and some of them don't. And it's okay if it's just, you know, each fish is marked differently, and so you just gotta go through there and just do the best you can. Now the flip side of this is pumpkin orange. So up here, he's gonna have squiggles. And I can barely see the squiggles. Hey, Sace, do we have a magnifying glass? Problem is that I literally can't see. I literally can't see what I'm doing. I know that this ridge on his face is going to be darker. I may have to give up the idea of having all the squiggles drawn on this because I just can't see them. And see, when I drew them on the iPad, I could blow it up and make it work that way. So it wasn't too terrible, but it's very challenging with this. Side of his eyeball. A little bit darker, maybe. I'm going to be really careful not to cover up all the yellow. Okay, it's not awful. Some yellow to this, and of course we're going to add some other colors because we can't have the whole fish be the exact same colors because then you lose all the dimension of it. Sky blue light. Just a touch of that in there. Yeah. Okay, that works. That's not terrible. And see, that will get darker. If I look at the photo up here of Brookie holding hers, you're seeing a lot less of all the stuff. I'm gonna grab light peach and go over his snout. really raspberry. Let's get in there with some more of that raspberry. Although it's not terrible. I'm going to take the sky blue and I'm going to put it here. Okay, so I've started moving into a little bit of this reef. And these reefs are kind of fuzzy and bumpy.
Are you coloring?
I am coloring.
Oh, that's cool. What are you coloring? The
Reef.
pigfish? Oh, that's nice.
The pigfish. I need a Coke Zero. I have no idea if this is going to translate well. I'm just sort of putting some formations in here. Because I'm not trying to be photorealistic with this, I'm just trying to be. Because I'm thinking that this one right here would be casting some sort of a shadow on that. I've seen reef with these are like these look like the beginning of cathedral coral to me. That's what I was thinking. Ooh, I like that. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, see, that's not terrible. What? We got this. This is cream. This is jade green. I'm not trying to cover all of this up with jade green. I'm just randomly putting some in here. Let's go back in with the chocolate. My wrist already hurts. It's gonna be a long day. Okay, let's add some of this yellow. Then once we get just the idea of them in, then I can come back and add some more little formation doodads in here to give it a little more interest if I need to, you know, I don't know. A little bit of the dark brown in here. Taxing on your I know I'm seeing this color on the reef. want to make sure that you're coloring pretty rough. You don't, because you want this to look like rocks. Or like it's got lots of little spiky doohickeys all over it. I'm gonna come back in and kind of rough this one up a little bit. Clay rose. Scarlet Lake. Ooh. Oh, that might need to be in the fish. In hindsight, I'm wondering if it would be easier to come back in and draw the squiggles over. So much work. Y'all, I literally just cannot see. I know that there's like dots of yellow and stuff in this, but I literally just cannot see them. So maybe easy way to do it would be to color the whole thing and then go back over. But the problem is that the squiggles on top of this fish are yellow and the squiggles on the bottom were red, which is why it was easier to do it this way, the bottom part of this fish. Okay, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Now, I don't like the reef yet, but the reef is gonna get better. It's gonna be okay. Maybe I want to switch gears a minute and start working on something that I think is really pretty. So then we know that we can take some liberty with this. So some of these sea fans have, you know, are lacy and super open and have lots of little holes, and some of them are almost solid. They still wave in the wind, but they're not lacy and fanciful. It's almost like they're open and they've got their little tentacles out trying to catch food is what I think is going on with them. So pretty. So, what are the other colors that we have here? Black raspberry. Let's test this out. okay. I can live with that. this piece back here is gonna wave back. I'm sorry I'm not talking to you guys a lot. This piece right here is very hard, and I kind of got in the zone there. I'm probably just gonna have to do a voiceover on this to talk about what I'm doing. Okay, so let's talk about the reef. Sorry, I'm trying to acclimate. I had to sleep on this one because it was challenging, and I did the, yesterday I finished the mutton snapper, and then I started working hardcore on this one, and it's a lot, and so I had to take a break. So I've come to it with fresh eyes, which is something that you should definitely recognize the need to do. Fresh eyes on a painting is a great idea. If you get stuck, just stop. Just stop, go do something else. Go play a video game, go fish, go take a walk, go look at the water, go, you know, hunt for arrowheads, go do whatever it is that you do outside. I really tell you, don't, video games kind of, and YouTube and all of that, although they're wonderful, scientifically they do suck your creativity right out of your brain. So imagine that right there. So go do something outside that will recharge you, and then come back to it with fresh eyes. It always helps. So this is nowhere near as bad as I thought it was yesterday. So now let's talk about this reef here. So this coral, when you look at a photograph, it's going to be greeny. It's going to have a lot of that atmosphere, that water atmosphere coming over it. And you're going to use that to your advantage to set this coral back, because we want this piece of coral right here to be behind the fish. We want this piece of coral to be behind the fish, and this piece to be under and behind the fish. So this part of the coral here is in the same limelight as the fish, but we got to get all those colors down first to make that happen. But if we're gonna set this back in the distance, let's just try real quick here and see what this looks like. I am just lightly coming over all of these chicken scratches with some cobalt turquoise. And in some of the areas, I am gonna put it on a little bit darker. But I'm just gonna kind of bounce it around here a little bit. And while I am just enthralled with coral, coral is not the star of this show. The fish and the sea fan are competing, but once I bring the fish up to intensity with all the oranges and the reds, it will come in front of the sea fan. I just didn't want the sea fan to be green because we are gonna have just a touch of this over here, because that's gonna do a couple of things. That's gonna make that sea fan look like it's waving over. And see, when you add this cobalt to the sea fan on top of the purple, because there's so much blue in this green, it really just makes it for a darker purple. It works. Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so now we're gonna come over here and we're gonna use it over here on this side. Right here. I'm gonna go right over the spine that I drew. Just very, 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 very lightly. And not the entirety of the space. This is how you get it to start moving around even though it's drawn super flat. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Okay, I can live with that. So maybe there's some more over here. And the beauty is, because we use so many different reds, pinks, and purples to color this fan initially, I can just kind of go throughout the whole thing with this cobalt here, and it's not going to It's not going to flatten it out. It's actually going to give it some serious amounts of wave. Yep, I'm digging it. Totally digging it. You know what? I'm not going to paint the background on this one. I'm going to leave it white like I would have painted. Okay, so let's grab a few more of all of these colas. This is Sienna Brown, which is really, if you were looking in the paint world, if you're familiar with the paint world colors, it's burnt sienna. It's got a lot of red in it. You see how rough I am going at this here. Seriously rough. And I'm trying to do it in all different directions. And I could paint over these lines, these dark lines that I've drawn in with gouache, but we're just gonna let them ride. I just want to get in here and get these covered. And I'll use a darker color here in just a minute to move all of these around. Switch to a light umber on this side over here. And I'm using the light umber in the back here. very quickly come in and just fill this one in. Just a touch. We're going for this look here. I like what happened here. I like that a lot. So and come over here and add some of this umber over here. Right on top of that purple that we laid in earlier. Look at all these beautiful colors though. Like this is almost this page here is almost the entire color spectrum of pencils from Prismacolor is gonna get used. I can assure you of that. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so here we go. So I feel like I want some dark brown and I want some sepia. Just gonna put these here. Is this the sepia? That's the sepia. So I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna just start making some crevices in here. Some crevasses. Some crevasses. Just fed my squirrels some peanut butter. They're outside having a little treat. Now y'all know that I'm not a fan of ever using black, but in this situation, I gotta get a little bit darker than what I can with just the brown. And I wanna do it quickly and not waste a bunch of time, so. And you can control it by how hard you press, obviously. Do you see how once you start to add some of these divots that you can kind of give it a lot of shape, so it's no longer just, even though it was drawn super flat, all of a sudden we've got all these crevices on here that are giving it tons and tons of shape. So you want to be really careful that your shadows in the background ones aren't as dark. They need to be there, but they can't be as prevalent, because as you set the distance, as you go back into the painting, the distance between the highlights and the shadows gets less evident. I'm going to switch to the sepia now. That grows on, that I've seen personally on my dies. It's almost like moss, like things you would see on the floor of the forest. It's super hard to describe, and I'm not, I can't give you all the scientific terms for all of it. I can just tell you that it's seriously beautiful. I mean, it is seriously beautiful. It's just spectacular. So we're just gonna kind of come in here and make some little doodaddy things here. And then we're gonna kind of color over some of that with some of this cobalt. Just to kind of set it down in there, just a touch. Coloring over the entirety of it right now with this cream. Is it cream? Yep, it's cream. Because I want to start seeing some of that yellow come through, and I don't think, I'm not pushing so hard that I no longer can add anything to it. I'm just trying to get these things a little more solidified, if that makes sense. So they look more like a structure instead of that's gonna be so cool. Okay, let me sharpen this again. long stroke coloring sessions that make my arms sore. That's a lot. I don't 100% know what I'm doing here with these. I know how I would do it if I was attempting to pull this off with paint. But doing it with the colored pencils, I'm brand new at this, y'all. So we're learning together how to make this right. Or how to not make it wrong. Whichever way you want to look at it. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Oh yeah, that's working. Okay, so I grabbed some of this lilac color and I'm just throwing that in there. I've seen that color on the leaf. I've seen that color on the reef. Okay, so maybe that's not exactly what I want. Give me some of this blue here. Some of that color on the leaf. Seen that color on the leaf. I'm just continuing to try to work all of these colors into these couple of pieces of coral that I know are up close and personal. That's all I'm trying to do. Because I don't really want the coral to compete with the fish. Don't get me wrong, I think that the fish are just spectacular, but the coral is always what grabs my attention on the reef. And I think it's because the fish move so fast, you only get a split second to really focus on a fish unless they're curious about what you're doing. But the coral obviously is planted and stays, and it's, you know, stays right there. And I talk about coral like it's a plant, but y'all know coral is an animal, right? It's like my favorite animal. I love coral so much. I think it's just spectacularly beautiful. For me, diving is like, the fish are like birds, the coral are like plants. It's like this beautiful landscape underwater that has all of these just hidden gems in it. Okay, that's a little wild. I'm not sure that's working. Is it working? I can't tell. So now I need to go in here and I need to add some of these serious shadows. I don't know if I've done a good thing here or a bad thing here. I can't really tell you. I may have added too much yellow into that. Probably really did add too much yellow into it. I'm gonna come up, oh yeah, here we go. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna come over this with some of this color here. Oh, yep, that's what needed to happen. Okay. Not over the entirety of it, but just over some of it. Okay. That brought some of it forward. Okay, that's not terrible. I don't hate it, and that's what we're going for, right? We're going for the It might not be perfect, but I don't hate it. Okay. All right. That's I can probably get behind that. It's a little bit dark and a little bit muted, but you know, it's all right. It's not awful. I'm coming in with this aqua because aqua is your friend when you're trying to add some atmosphere, because the color, the more distance you have between you and your subject matter underwater, you're going to have more of the atmospheric color around it, which is the aqua color. So that's what I'm attempting to do here, is set some of this down into the landscape a little bit more. See if I just do a light over, just lightly color over all of that. So that's not exactly what I want. This is really more of what I wanted. This got a little out of control, but it's pretty. I mean, so it's okay. It's okay. We're just gonna let it ride. I'm gonna come over here with some of the purple. And I'm gonna just kind of set in some. Problem with the colored pencils is that once you go super dark, you're pretty much stuck with what you've got. And it's a very hard lesson for me to learn, because I could paint over all of this. You know, you go super dark and then you paint over it all. That's how you do it in the acrylic world. Acrylic is very forgiving. You let it dry, you revisit. You let it dry, you revisit. And you revisit until you've got, you know, the shapes that you're looking for. But see, now that this is waxier, I've put so many layers on here, I'm having trouble even getting the black or the sepia, which is super dark, to do what I wanted to do over here. Now the cobalt will show up, but it's because it's, you know, pretty intense already. And see, it'll even come off on my finger. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do with this is come over here and hit this with some of the gel pen. Oh yeah, that works. Okay, that's not awful. So I just sort of go around some of these shapes in here that I think would be there, and then I just touch it with the tip of my finger, just to kind of bring that white down just a little bit, because we don't want it to be crazy, but we definitely want it in there. Oh yeah, oh that's gonna work just fine, okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I was gonna be disappointed, but I've changed my mind. I'm not gonna be disappointed. I'm good with it. Oh wow, I kind of like it. So you come down here and add some more of the little gibberish little things here. Just kind of fan them out. That's lovely, actually. Okay, so if I can actually make some little watery marks on here with this too. Okay. I love to watch the water reflect off of everything when we're on a dive. It's just spectacular. But again, it never stops moving, so it's super hard to focus on it. It doesn't stop. It's constantly in motion, so you don't get that freeze frame effect where you can really analyze the color, because your brain tells you that it's white, but it isn't. Now we're using white here to mimic it, but it isn't white. Look at that. Okay. Yo, that looks pretty dang good. So if you've gone snorkeling or scuba diving, leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite part of it was, or where your favorite place to go is. My favorite place is the Cayman Islands. It's just pristine, spectacular diving there. And I know there's a lot of places in the Indo-Pacific that are, you know, that have a different set of coral and a different set of fish, and they're spectacular as well. But that's a very long trip for me, and I haven't ever got to do that yet. So the Cayman Islands is like literally an hour's plane ride for me. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm super happy. I'm super, super happy. I'm gonna come over here and put some little doodaddies over here. Oh, look at that, yay. Okay, I might start to understand this whole graphic illustration thing. I might start to understand it. It could be good, it could be really good. I'm gonna add some little doohickey dotties over here. Now we don't wanna get crazy because I haven't completely finished all of this yet. And you really gotta be careful. You don't want to draw lines on this. You want just the glint of color, the glint of highlight on here. That's all we're looking for. It's just the glint of highlight. And I'm sort of skipping ahead to the part that's my favorite part, where I see it come to life, because this is going to be hard, and I need I need a break from that. I need a break from how challenging the fish is about to be, because I drew the line so small and they're so faint that I can't even see my own lines. So I'm hoping that your eyesight is better than mine. Look how nice that looks. So I've got the permanent red. I'm thinking that I want to add a little bit of that color in here. Right over that raw umber. Doing with this one yet, but it's okay. I come over here and do just a little bit of love over some of this. And we're going to do this again just in sections. I don't want to color the whole thing because I like the highlights that are in here, the lighter color, because you do see that color on the reef. Over this purple, and this was the darker purple, which is really more like a cobalt purple if you're familiar with the colors on an acrylic level. I have a dog on me from Tumpy. Okay. Yo, this one's intense. This one's really intense. You can do it though, just take your time. I've had to take my time. I put it off until the last possible minute. The book is almost done. I mean, I've almost filled an entire coloring book. I waited for the last to do this one and the bonefish absolutely last because I knew that they were going to be wildly involved. Going right in here, and I'm getting rid of any of the white scratches that I can still see in there. So we're just going to kind of let this trail off and let this trail off, and I do really like this yellow. I'm going to put some more of this yellow in here. So don't forget that you have full creative liberty. If you want to paint this some wild color, you go right ahead and paint it whatever color you think you want to do it in. This is for practice. This is where you work out ideas and concepts. This is where you figure out, you know, and yeah, it takes a day to put a good page together, but it's better than you starting a painting and then it being nothing like what you had hoped for, because you didn't have a roadmap. This sort of gives you the roadmap. So I can look at this and see the things that I like and the things that I don't like and things that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have, you know, maybe done something else right there. See how I'm going over this and it's just bringing that up just a touch. to get too crazy with it because I don't want it to compete too much with the fish that I have to now bring up. So now I have to make a decision about the fish. I know there's tons of squiggles in there, but I've also spent an entirely large amount of time on this already. Like, it's been a process. So I know I'm gonna make a command decision and just color the whole thing in the reds and the browns, and then I'm gonna take my liner brush and I'm gonna go back in and put the squiggles in with paint, because that would just be easier. So I'm gonna start laying in some of these. I have to go in and white out over all of this because that right there I colored in brown, and I have seen these fish. I knew something was off. I just couldn't wrap my brain around what it was that was off. Do you know what's off? Yeah, I'll tell you. That's all yellow. Yellow at the tip, yellow at the tip, yellow at the tip, yellow at the tip, yellow at the tip. Yellow at the base here. And see how I'm sort of blending it out? Just pulling some of that color right into that. Okay. And then it's yellow. Oh, come on now. It's not. That's not gonna stick. Okay, I'm gonna have to solve that problem in a little while. Let's go over this. To make sure that this is nice and brightly yellowed. So we're gonna go over this area again real quick here with this cream color. This cream color is just spectacularly beautiful. But you wanna make sure you've got your oranges down first before you go through there with the other color, with the cream. Because you wanna blend it out. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to translate this here in the next few minutes into a done product, a done and finished product. So this is black raspberry. I'm going to take some of this black raspberry and we are going to start laying in some color right in here. Be semi-careful because once you get all of this laid in dark, it's going to be really impossible with the colored pencils to go back. So but I'm going to make that happen with paint. That's going to be the fixer-upper. The fixer of all of this is the paint. It's going to solve the problems. So I know that this is going to be a little bit darker, and that's going to be a little bit darker back here. It always makes me nervous. Let's get into it with some of the oranges now. Oh, that's spectacular. This is orange, straight up orange. And we're going over all of the yellow that we've already put in there. So we're letting that yellow just shine through. I'm gonna grab some canary yellow, and I'm gonna actually bring this spot up here on his face a little bit higher value, a little bit higher intensity. To the oranges. Is this pale vermilion? Yep, pale vermilion. Okay, let's go over with that. We're just going to keep building color and building color and building color until we have the color that we want. Come back here with a little bit of this pale vermilion on the base of his tail and on his body. Super light, just super, super light. Now on the ridge of his back, where his dorsal fin connects, we're going to start building up some color here. You know what? I can get behind that. I kind of don't mind it. It's a little messy in there, but I think I can fix the messy with the pen. So I'm just going to keep going over and over. See, each pass gets a little bit more intense and a little bit more saturated with color. And I'm coloring in the squiggles because I have found again that the squiggles sort of mimic the pattern of the scales. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to, I don't need all of the scales on this. This is for practice. Maybe it was a bad idea, maybe. So then I want that that blackberry. Here we go. So we're gonna pick up the blackberry and I'm gonna come through here. So where you think it's brown, we're actually using dark purples. To get the colors that we're looking for here. Now right up against that dorsal fin, we want a little bit darker rich. It's called planting. We want to plant that dorsal fin into the back so it's not, so it looks like it's attached to the fish rather than it just being a drawn line. We also want to put some of this in the dorsal fin here, some of this. And just barely any of it. I mean, we're barely touching. I'm gonna add a little bit of it down here on his anal fin. See, he's starting to come alive here. Just kind of go in and just draw some random lines so that it appears to be like scales, scale-like structure. See how nice that's looking? We're gonna come in here and just keep making that ridge darker and darker and darker until we've got it where we want it. I don't know, y'all. I might not even put the squiggles in there. Look at that. What? That's not looking terrible. Okay. I was all nervous about this fish. Shoot. I psyched myself out. And you know what? The thing is that I want you to learn from that is that I've been painting for a very long time. And I still psych myself out when I think, I'm not even sure I know how to start this fish. And fish are hard to paint. If you can master fish, you can paint anything. that. Now I feel like we need to add a little, pick up that cobalt turquoise and start coming in here. Because we're using the green as a shadow mechanism because of how much red is in this. Because when you mix red and green together, you lower the intensity of the red, which will set that side of his face on the other side of his body, which is what we want to do. And you're going to create some dimension here just by using the green as a shadow instead of a black. Black is not your friend. Hardly ever use the black. Now watch, I'm going to take this green and I'm going to go down his back with this green, and I'm also going to put some of this green in his dorsal fin here. I am barely coloring this at this point. I'm going to come in here with some of this. Ooh, see how this green is so intense, y'all. It will eat your lunch. You have to be very cautious with this green. I'm going to put a little bit of it there. I'm going to add a little bit more of it here. I'm going to add a little bit of it back here. He's going to have a little bit of a green line there because that would be the water reflecting off of his lighter body on the bottom. Keep kind of adding little bits of green up here on his sweet little face. Come in here with the cream and kind of start to blend that out. Enough. That's good enough. Okay, so it feels like we've really developed the top part of his face. Where's my ink pen? Where is my ink pen? Here it is. Again, what I've learned with the ink pen here is that the less you push down, the more ink actually comes out and the better off you are with that. is gonna work. Look at that. I'm just gonna come in here and draw my own little squiggles with the ink pen in between the red lines that I have created there. And then I'm just gonna touch it and kind of bring down the intensity of it so that it sort of fades into the picture. And there is no right or wrong. Just get crazy with your squiggles. Do make sure though that you rub your fingers together after you begin your squiggle conquest here, because if you don't and you keep pushing, then you're going to make the same repeating patterns over and over again. You probably don't want. That's not going to be a good look for this. I'm having so much fun literally playing with this concept. Okay, so let's develop. So I've got a little bit of a glare on my side. It's kind of hard to see. All right. So I'm pretty happy with the way the fish looks, considering that this is a sketchbook, you know, sketchy. It looks pretty good up there. You guys are getting a good view of this. This is probably the best one I've done. I'm getting better at this. Hopefully you're improving too, and it's becoming exciting. It has been a challenge to work my way through this book, and I drew it. So, you know, it's gonna be good. So let's get in here and tie all of this together. So that's what's next. So here we go. Y'all, my colors are somewhat of a hot mess. I'm gonna grab a few colors over here that I haven't used yet. Let's see, pomegranate and crimson lake. Let's see what this does, y'all. Wow, this Crimson Lake is beautiful. Now I picked it up for a couple of reasons. One, you can't use the same red throughout the entire painting, or you're going to lose the illusion of depth in the piece. So I'm just barely going to come over here and just touch some of these colors here. Come up in here. This is going to be a little bit shadowed here. This is going to be a little bit more intense in here. This is like some little pieces of coral. Take your time. Don't just color around things. Don't just make halos around things. We're going to grab some grays here in just a minute and some blues and really turn this up. Now I am going to go back up into this a little bit and push a little bit harder into some of these areas just to make the divots a little bit deeper. I'm going to come over here and barely add any color on this because I want this to still be more in the orange family, I think. I know that that's right there, that's a deep crevice. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to color a little bit heavier right here because I want this to be a crevice. Wow, I am actually looking forward to doing reef with the colored pencils now. I was really nervous to do the reef with the colored pencils because I am so accustomed to the way that I do it with paint. This is fantastic. These are so buttery smooth. I'm just in love with these. Wow. sepia. Dioxazine purple. We've talked about it. Bring it up again. Dioxazine purple is the darkest naturally occurring color on the color wheel. Works great for shadows in the foreground because it's very intense. Wow, this is really fun. This is actually fun now. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the muted turquoise and the blue violet lake. Muted turquoise, just setting it down. See that? Just kind of set it back in the background. And yeah, I've colored outside the lines. It's okay. We're not going to be too concerned about that. Taking that muted turquoise right over all of this that I just put in there. We're going to come over this again with some oranges anyway. And at this point, I'm just randomly picking up color. I need a really crazy green. This is the lime peel green. Yep, it sure is. If you've ever been diving, you know you've seen this color. See how we just set that down? Now I just want to come in and practice all of my coral. There it is. Pumpkin orange. Dioxazine purple. Okay. Light umber. pumpkin orange. Wowza! So the only thing I'm not really fond of is this. Oh, that's gonna fix that problem. Yellow ochre. Yep, I'm telling you, it's way worth it to put the squiggles on last. Way worth it to put the squiggles on with the glitter paint. Oh my goodness. Yep. Using nothing but the interference right now. What? Okay. I think we're just gonna call it with that. Tapping out.